look at the lower Sacramento River, and when we do, we look at Tim Fox. He is our guy up there. He's the owner of Mr. Fox Outfitters, and he is our guy on the Sacramento River, knows a lot about what's going on up there, been doing it a long time. Good morning. How you doing, Tim?
Good, Rick. How are you?
Perfect. Everything's great. And how are things going up there on the Sac?
Well, I may look a little tired because I've been on the river a bunch the last couple of weeks, and it's been very, very good. Very good.
So how are we looking then? Kind of start with flows. We usually sort of look at that as kind of a barometer of things, how they're going. And I know that they're low, and everybody's a little concerned right now with drought situation and when that's really going to start taking effect, and on what rivers and what and that kind of thing. So have you seen sort of an effect of that yet?
No.
What do you expect? What are the flows looking like? How's it going?
Yeah, the flows are 4,500 CFS, and so the water temperatures, usually if you look at the gauges on the Sacramento River, in the morning, it's about 52 degrees in the morning. It gets up to about 58 right now. And I think they're just using the last of the cold reserves in Lake Shasta for the winter run salmon that they call winter run, but are spawning currently. And talking to the fish count, the salmon counters, they've got about 100 spawning pairs this year, which is good. And they're coming to an end spawning. They'll be done by the end of July. So once they're done and that cold water pool in Shasta is used up, we'll see what happens. So it's been a mild summer, so I'm hoping it doesn't get too warm here.
So let me just kind of dig in to that a little bit, Tim. So we're looking at this winter salmon spawn, and but you look at it as, I mean, that's not the fishery. You're looking at it as the trout fishery based on that salmon spawn, right?
Right, correct.
Okay.
Well, they keep the cold water for the salmon, and so it benefits the trout.
Okay, so when you see that, so then both the releases in terms of the cold water and those spawning salmon, you're saying kind of sort of then would tail off at the end of July, and then what is that effect on the river and on the fishery?
Well, the fish are eating bugs, so it's not like they'll eat eggs, but they're eating mostly caddis right now. So when the salmon stops spawning, it's not going to hurt anything as far as fishing goes. It's just the water temperature, what the powers that be that control all of that. We'll see if they can maintain cold water continuing on into August and September. So if it doesn't get over 62, it should be okay. You got to start thinking about how you handle your trout. But as long as it stays below 62 degrees later in the summer, it'll be fine. It's just right now it's in great shape. Shape.
Right. So we're looking really good. You expect through the end of July.
Yes.
And what kind of tactics are you using, at least at this point? Let's say up until that point, until the end of July, or whenever those flows change.
Well, right now I'm just doing indicator fishing out of the drift boat, and towards evening, I'll get out the 5 weights and high stick and swing, caddis and bird's nest and things like that. And then if the fish cooperate, then we'll throw some dry fly action. But and in the afternoons and evenings, I've been fishing way better than the mornings. But a lot of times people go out in the morning to avoid the heat.
Mm-hmm. What kind of in that afternoon are you seeing then hatches, and what are they?
It's been sporadic, but when there is a hatch, it's mostly caddis and then some PMDs and some betas. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so now, and then just getting back, and I know we're kind of fixating on this. I know the fishing is great right now, but I'm sort of just kind of looking ahead, a little bit then towards the end of August. And if the water temperatures do rise, we talked about handling a fish and, getting them back in the water and not fighting them so hard and so on, so that we can keep the mortality low. What about tactics? What do you change in terms of your tactics and strategies based on that water temperature rising?
I won't change anything. I change my tactics based on how much guide pressure's on the river. So the fish will change their behavior based on how much they get pounded. So that's basically year round. So it's
Interesting.
not really water temperature. They'll get a little bit more aggressive with warmer water temperatures. So the swing in the evening will be better, but again, overall their behavior is dictated on guide pressure, on
When you
fishing
say
pressure.
guiding pressure, does that then mean that you just go to different sections of the river, or do you fish it differently?
I'll look for different types of water. The fish will move out of one area that they keep getting pounded in, and they'll move into a different type of water just to escape. A lot of times guides will fish deep, and so maybe the fish don't move the area, but maybe they'll move up in the water column. So even though you're fishing maybe a 12-foot deep hole, I might only be fishing 4 or 5 feet down instead of all the way to the bottom. So I hate saying that. I don't want to give the other guides ideas, but because then I'll have to change my stuff again when they figure it out.
So it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game.
Yes, it is.
Okay, and it's what you're just looking at, well, guides and anybody else, right, that are just kind of applying pressure to
Yes,
a certain area of the river and a certain water column and things
that's
like
correct.
that.
Correct.
Okay, interesting. All right, and then the flies. Okay, I was going to ask you about regulations, and what are the regs right now? Are there any changes in the regs?
No changes in the regs. The upper portion, that Keswick down to Highway 44, will open August 1st. And the fish have been untouched for 4 months. And so it'll be a circus the first few days, guys launching before light. And there'll be like 50 drift boats in that section the first few days. But that'll open up, another couple miles of fishing. So that'll be nice. It'll be really nice.
Okay, so basically, say again. So on August 1st, what are the ranges of what it's open?
It's the Keswick Dam,
Okay.
all the way down to the 44 bridge.
Okay, so you're fishing 44 bridge downstream,
Correct.
and then just opening that upper section August 1st.
August 1st.
But you're
yeah.
saying like that first few days, it just gets to be just everybody's up there. So like,
Yeah. If you want to be entertained, go to the Sundial Bridge and just stand there and watch. Bumper boats.
You can walk on the boats across the river. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Now, Tim, I know a lot of people in terms of the flies they're using, you had mentioned a couple of them.
Yeah.
Sometimes want to know where to get those. I know that your tine flies specifically you designed for the lower Sacramento.
Yeah.
What are those, and then where can people get them?
Well, right now, the two best that I've been using are the Fox's Pupa, and that's available on my website, mrfoxoutfitters.com. And that's the cinnamon size 15 non-bead. And then the size 16 copper bead bird's nest, Mr. Fox's version of a bird's nest. And those are only available on my website.
Perfect. And then if someone wants to get a hold of you for a guided trip, can you give us your contact info for that?
Yeah, the website has all that information, which is mrfoxoutfitters.com. And you can reach me by my cell phone, which I have on me all the time. If I don't answer, that means I'm rowing. And that's 530-949-0238.
Perfect. All right. Thanks a lot, Tim. Good information. Sounds like we've kind of we got a great spot right now here in the month of July, and then sounds like things are going to kind of change up a little then towards 1st of August in terms of where you can fish, the regulations, and we'll have to see how this drought and how how everything kind of shakes out. So it's going to be really interesting, and we'll touch base with you then towards the end of the month so that we can get a handle on what's going on up there. And how things shake out. Maybe they'll just keep rolling along, hopefully, right?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Stay kind of mild and things kind of stay good would be really good. But if not, or whatever it is, you're the guy that has all the information. So we'll check in again with you.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks a lot, Tim. Appreciate it. That was Tim Fox. He's Mr. Fox Outfitters. He's guides on the lower Sac as well as many of the other rivers up there in Northern California. Knows a lot of what's going on both in the area as well as can get you onto some fish. as well as those flies. I'll put the link in the post so that you can pick up flies from him that he has on his website, as well as contact him if you want a guided trip. And we'll see you right here next time on the Backcast.